Gearing in Final Fantasy XIV is a frustrating RNG-based process designed to keep you occupied throughout an entire 4-month patch cycle. What's up guys, I'm Star, healer main and coffer winning enthusiast, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to cut the time it takes to fully gear jobs in half through a method known as split clears. But that's not enough for a full video. I'm also going to show you how split clears single-handedly improve your logs, help you beat the toughest enrages, maximize fun with your friends, allow you to play more jobs at a high level, and enable you to focus more on the enjoyable parts of Final Fantasy XIV raiding and less on the tedious nature of gear progression. But first, take a second to make sure my viewership doesn't also get split in half, and click the subscribe button below. I'll be making more videos every couple weeks focused on healing, raiding, and how to improve it both. In a game marketed as letting you play any job on one character, gearing more than 2 of them to completion in a patch before burning out on re-clears and capping tomes entirely is more of a challenge than the fights themselves. Sure, you can always buy crafted gear for anything you want, but after the first few weeks, good luck getting past the party finder item level requirements. Even if you could, Final Fantasy XIV raiding is a team game, and people always want to do the most damage they can, either to help the team or to pad their own ego. When deciding between a fully geared job and a job with scattered pieces, any choice is an illusion. This has been discussed repeatedly on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, and even the official forums, all in the hope of Square Enix changing this system before the next expansion. 7.0, however, is months, if not over a year away, so I'm going to focus on what you can do right now to address the problem head on. After all, you're the Warrior of Light, not a passive NPC. You take matters into your own hands. Split clears are a strategy which utilizes additional characters known as alts to funnel loot to primary characters or mains in order to cut the gear acquisition time in half. Whereas a standard static would load all into an instance together on their main characters once a week, a split clear static would start the fights with half the party on mains and half of the party on their alts. Because Final Fantasy XIV's loot system punishes players if they have already cleared by reducing rewards down from 2 chests to 1 chest or even 0, it is essential that all 8 characters in instance have not yet cleared for the week, so that all 8 are eligible for maximum loot. The static is split into 2 groups, and Group 1, composed of 4 mains and 4 alts, successfully defeats all 4 floors or turns of the raid tier, and any loot is distributed only to the 4 main characters. All 8 players then log out, and the 4 who were on mains log in on their alts, while the 4 who were on alts log in with their mains. Group 2 then defeats the raid tier, and gear is once again distributed only to the second set of 4 mains. To show how this would work in practice, let's use P8S, the final fight of the current tier, as an example. When a standard static or party finder group clears the fight, a random weapon drops alongside a weapon coffer, a chest coffer, the raid mount, and also a minion and an orchestrion roll. With split clears, however, Group 1 would get the random weapon, the weapon coffer, the chest coffer, and the mount, and then Group 2 would also get one of each in the exact same week. This doubles the amount of loot per week, and if you get lucky, your static can win up to 4 relevant weapons in one single week of re-clears. Even with the worst luck, every player in the split clear static will have a chest and a weapon by their 4th clear of the final boss, compared to the 8th clear with a standard static and a hope and a prayer for the PF warriors. Another massive impediment to Final Fantasy XIV's gearing system is its use of oils and twines to upgrade tome pieces, amusingly called Moonshine Shines and Moonshine Twines this patch. In this past tier, my static required 18 of each. Assuming each person on the team is able to buy 1 of each with books every 4 weeks, it could take up to 8 weeks or 2 entire months of re-clears for everyone to get the pieces they need. A static running split clears, however, cuts this time in half, while also allowing you to spend more time raiding early on when the fights are new, fresh, and exciting. There are even alternative approaches to split clears, such as doing 2-6 splits instead of 4-4 if 2 players want or need gear faster than the rest of the static in order to participate in early tier speedrunning, or even quad clears for the mad lads who want to optimize as soon as possible. At the very most, for a normal group running split clears, it will take 5 weeks to get your entire team to BIS, depending on how many tome pieces are required per job in the respective tier. But with standard raiding, it could take 8, 9, or even 10 weeks to maximize your potential as a player. And this is a problem because weekly re-clears in Final Fantasy XIV quickly become a chore as the weeks go on. Now, don't get me wrong, I adore raiding. It is the primary way I enjoy Final Fantasy XIV and what I spend probably 90% of my time in-game doing. I love the challenge and the puzzle solving of progression, and I also have a ton of fun optimizing optimizing to maximize damage, pushing DPS as high as it can go, and kill times as low as possible. Re-clears, in contrast, often feel like an obligation as opposed to something to actually enjoy. When you think about it, the first few weeks of the tier are exciting, as everything is fresh and new. Week 1 is a fantastic challenge, and your first week of re-clears even are also wild as you try to remember the whirlwind of the week before. By the time week 3 comes around though, with a standard group, you're getting ready to try other things. And as week 4 rolls into 5, then 6, and then 7, re-clears are fully on autopilot, and when week 8 finally arrives, your motivation to keep running the content has diminished substantially. In a split clear group, however, as long as everything goes well, you never hit that point. The first 3 weeks are the same, but by the end of week 4, you have the potential for maximum damage, and every week that follows can be spent chasing higher and higher DPS values. Not only have you gotten to BIS in half the time, giving you substantially better gear and enabling you to do significantly more damage, but you've also cleared the fights twice as often, making you noticeably better at executing them through practice. That is a potent recipe for optimal damage. And while optimization is the primary purpose of split clears, the strategy also provides a plethora of unrelated benefits beyond FFLog's leaderboards. The first, and perhaps most important, is that it can give you the DPS you need to beat the hardest bosses in Prague. When faced with an unexpectedly tough enrage on the door boss this past tier, groups that had the ability to split clear the first 3 turns week 1 came into the final fight with double the gear, whereas a standard group would have 3 accessories from the first floor, 2 left side pieces, a right side upgrade item, and a weapon tombstone from the second floor, and a left side piece, pants, a left side upgrade item, and a tome weapon upgrade piece from the third floor. A split clear group would be battling the door boss with 6 right side raid pieces, 8 left side raid pieces, 4 upgraded tome pieces, and perhaps most importantly, 2 fully upgraded tome weapons. For some groups, this was the difference between killing the boss or ending the week empty-handed. Another terrific benefit is the ability to play with friends and help others without hindering their gear progression. Split clears do not continue for an indefinite period of time. After 4 to 5 weeks, while your main is fully at BIS and ready for optimization or speeds, you have a raid-ready alt with at least semi-sufficient gear that is primed to help your friends get clears, or head into Party Finder dressed in a maid outfit for fun. Because Final Fantasy XIV's gearing restricts you to 1 clear a week if you want to allow for a 2-chest party, having an alt separate from your main character and primary static maximizes your ability to join both friend and PF parties without any restrictions or gear penalties. Finally, split clears allow you to play more jobs at a high level by enabling you to gear twice as many. We talked about how Final Fantasy XIV says you can play all jobs on 1 character, but doesn't realistically allow you to gear more than 2 to 3 roles per tier. Having a raid-ready alt doubles the amount of roles you can reasonably gear, because if you're re-clearing successfully and mains are getting more and more gear week over week, there's minimal reason that your raid alt has to be geared as the same job or role your main is. After all, if you can beat the DPS check with full crafted on re-clears in early weeks, you shouldn't even come close as the weeks go on and mains increase their item level. If you want to gear Sage on your main and Dark Knight on your alt, and then gear Reaper on your main and Machinist on your alt when you're finished, your gameplay options suddenly are a lot more varied and interesting while immediately being less restrictive. Until Yoshi P decides to raise the tome limit, reduce the cost of items, increase the amount of drops per week, or somehow allow you to gear each role in tandem, the gearing system we currently have is the gearing system we're going to have to live with. Still, you don't have to go gently into the good night of Final Fantasy XIV's restrictive gearing. Instead, rage against it with split clears. Beat the toughest enrages, get loot in half the time, gear twice as many jobs, play more with your friends, and blow the leaderboards away. Also, real quick, I wanted to say how much I appreciate all of the views, likes, subscriptions, and comments on my previous 2 videos. I've had more fun in a few short weeks making YouTube videos than I had in months streaming on Twitch, and I hope to continue to create healing and rating content for Final Fantasy XIV as long as I can. I know it's corny, but if you're still watching, please subscribe. It genuinely makes a difference, and I very much appreciate it. Have a good one.